So who will it be here in El Salvador at the Surf City El Salvador Pro? Will it be Barron Mamiya? Will it be Alejo Muniz? Well, I'm Chris Cote, and this is Jesse Mendez. We got a fun matchup here.
And also with that little onshore, it really makes it tricky for it to identify which wave is running too fast down the line or it's just going to hold enough, and Barron up and riding.
All right, we're on. We're going to see Air Barron. He's carved there to start. Board looks cool. Lively, frisky. Board under his feet as he gets to this inside section. Starter kit, you know, nothing crazy. Will be a decent number, mid-sized score, but at least the heat is on now officially.
We're too deep. This one's the third one, so it moves in much further in, and what that does, all the tracking from the previous wave creates that whitewash. That's what we're seeing right now, and just makes the wave kind of hard to push through it, and loses a bit of intensity. It loses power, it loses curve. But the board looks good, floating, going through the flat parts pretty well. And it's a warm-up, you know? He's going to get something going. Maybe didn't want to sit there for too long and pull the trigger. Sometimes that's part of the strategy. But first, beautiful, opened up. See that eye all the way back around, even up and towards where Alejo's sitting. What that does, it just finishes the turn very nicely. It's a little snap right there, and that's where the wave gets very flat. But because it was the third wave of the set, there's a lot of water up the point already. So it lacks energy, lacks copiness to it. Finish it off strong as much as he could. He did it as much.
And he paddles in, so Barron's on the outside in the red. He's got to give way. Alejo has this really cool, unique style, long wingspan. Really puts every part of his body into the turns and into him generating speed down the line. That's a nice looking snap. Frees the fins, hammers it again, gets onto the open face, setting things up. Strong finish there. Just your textbook layback snap on the closeout section to end.
Pull the trigger in the perfect wave of the set. You can see it's a little bit more bumpy on the beginning, but as he's going down the line, it starts to clean up. A lot of energy on the lip. Once again, gets a good release. Kind of a frontside board slide there for him.
I like that turn. That was cool looking.
Yeah, and then just cuts it short right there just to get up in time for that layback snap.
Bleacher's a little less crowded, but still enthusiastic. They're watching now Barron Mamiya. You said it, Jesse. Second wave, cleaner on the face. This one slows down a little bit, and slows down enough for her. He's out.
And here's that second wave of the set. Much cleaner in the bottom. Beautiful opening turn there for Barron, but just the wave very shouldery, unfortunately for him. Sometimes they get a low road and they pop back up. That's why he's kind of doing a cut back to make sure he's not kicking out before.
As we see now, this was during the break. Alejo Muniz.
Kind of a good opportunity here. Looks like that wave's pretty clean. Beautiful floater. Pushing that back foot. Very tight bottom turn. Ooh, just loses the inside rail right there. That happens a lot when you try and cut that bottom turn short. This turn here was money from Alejo. Very tight in the pocket. Trademark from him.
I like that. That was a good freeze frame.
Gets up in vertical. Almost loses the fins right there on that inside rail, but this one just couldn't handle. Had to cut it short because the wave had a rib on it. Then as you push on the back foot and only need a 5.9, he's not going to let this wave go by.
So this is the second wave of the set. That first one came through straight up burger world. This one has some face to work with for Barron Mamiya. Nice carve there. Really like how he gets that tight arc up top. That Mick Fanning style carving top turn right there. So 3 in a row for Barron Mamiya. Now comes around the section. Make it a fourth. So this wave, a little bit of a slower cadence than I'm sure that Barron would want. We know he's a surfer that thrives on speed. Here we go. Could have a little ricochet to work with on the inside. Nice. Flashy tail slide finish for Barron Mamiya. Blue collar surfing right there. Power. Not super fast, and that was kind of due to the wave, but a lot of flow. Looked nice. It was fun to watch. I think it's going to be hovering around a mid-range score.
I think it's just different approaches, right? Like he carves through the wave and drives through it a little bit more. This turn, a little bit more critical pushes. You mentioned how he gets it tight and redirects, but unfortunately for him, the wave gets repetitive because the wave lacked a little bit of coping. But he gets up in not vertical, but a little bit lateral right there. And then right here, he finished it off with a nice kind of down the line, lip line snap. But the wave on the smaller side. I'm with you, Chris. I think it's going to be, it's just different approaches from Alejo's to his. It's on the mid-range, similar to what Alejo had, in my opinion. This is a beautiful turn. I think that might be the best turn we've seen it so far.
I don't think he could have done much more on that wave. I mean, that's kind of those are the turns the wave was asking for. And he did them really nice. Great style, nice and fluid, all the way from the outside to the inside. I love the finishing snap. You know, a little risk there, blowing the tail.
And you could see that the whole time the wave had more energy towards the bottom. So the whitewash kept pushing him out to the open face without any wall in front of him. But he was driving through that front foot much more than Alejo was. Alejo was pushing more and stomping on the back foot. Mostly the second turn here. This is the best turn we've seen it so far in the heat. Gets it very tight, very powerful on the pocket.
5.5, you know, those were pretty similar looking waves. Barron is just kind of being just a little bit more unique in the maneuver choices as well. Here we go. Alejo Muniz looking for a 5.34. Speeding down the line. Come on. Go berserker mode. Blows the tail, grabs the rail. Kind of held on to it for a little extra. But he gets around this section again, building up some speed. There's some fire. There's some flash from Alejo Muniz. There is inside. This wave's a grower as well. You could have something fun to work with in here. Bam. All right. Pretty clear what he thinks the score was.
This committed maneuver we had of the heat. You're gonna see him going down the line. He actually gets quite a lot of speed, which is hard to control when you're going to the air. Up and vertical, kind of launching, and with a lot of leverage down the line as well. And it seems like, oh my gosh, like he did something very well, but the wave's gonna die out. All of a sudden the wave starts to build up and gain speed again. Beautiful carve down. And finish it off strong right in front of the judges. He should be fired up because he did.
And it comes through. Boom. That was it. Just on the line. A 5.43. He needed a 5.4.03. Gave him the edge there. So the energy, the excitement, you know, the buzzer beater. Alejo Muniz just edging out Barron Mamiya.